All right, let's jump right in. For centuries, really, one name has pretty much defined what we think of as drama, tragedy, and, well, the human condition itself. Today we're going to try and unlock the Codex of William Shakespeare, exploring these timeless worlds he built and the huge, universal questions he was brave enough to ask.
And honestly, what better place to start than with this line from As You Like It? It's so iconic. This one idea is basically the key to his entire universe. Shakespeare saw life as this grand, messy, sprawling play, where every single one of us is just playing a part. It's an idea he came back to again and again, looking at our big entrances, our dramatic exits, and all the complicated, weird scenes we act out in between.
So who was this guy? The master playwright behind all these epic stories. The man who could literally forge entire worlds, from gloomy castles in Scotland to the sunny canals of Venice, using nothing but the power of his words.
So, on the left, you see the man himself, William Shakespeare, and on the right, that was his creative home, the legendary Globe Theatre in London. I mean, this is the place where his characters first took a breath, where his poetry first bounced off the walls, and where his stories came to life for thousands of people who were just completely captivated. And the scale of what he left behind it's just staggering. Born back in 1564, he didn't just become the national poet of England. You could argue he's the greatest dramatist the world has ever seen. We're talking 37 plays and 154 sonnets. It's no wonder they called him the King Without Crown, a nod to his absolute rule over language and literature. Okay, so from the man, let's turn to one of his most powerful and most destructive themes, ambition. In Shakespeare's world, that hunger for power is like a fire. Once you light it, it often just burns down everything and everyone in its path.
And wow, this chilling piece of advice, from Lady Macbeth to her husband, it just captures the whole theme perfectly. It's this call to action, right? Hide your real venomous plans behind a mask of innocence. It's basically the playbook for ruthless ambition, and it kicks off one of the bloodiest tragedies ever put to paper.
And here's the world that ambition builds. You've got Macbeth, a brave general who gets tempted by a prophecy from three witches. But the real push comes from his wife, Lady Macbeth, who our source material calls a super witch, which is just fantastic. She's the one who masterfully nudges him toward murder and madness, and the result, the bloody, unavoidable fallout of their desires.
But you know, ambition in Shakespeare isn't always about witchcraft and spooky prophecies. Sometimes it's about cold, hard politics. In the world of Julius Caesar, this quest for power in ancient Rome makes people really confront their own mortality. These words from Caesar frame ambition not just as a goal, but as a real test of who you are.
But of course, Shakespeare wasn't just writing about power and politics. He was also the absolute master of exploring the most powerful human emotion there is, love. An emotion that, in his hands, could lead to some really witty comedy, or to absolute, heart-shattering ruin. He gave us this simple, universal truth in one of his most famous comedies, The Merchant of Venice. It's such a playful way of admitting that love is irrational and often, pretty foolish.
And he keeps building on that idea in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Here, love isn't just blind, it's chaotic, it's complicated, and it's often a really frustrating journey. This line has basically become a motto for anyone who's ever hit a roadblock in the name of love.
But then, the tone shifts, and it shifts hard, because for Shakespeare, love can also be a weapon. Our source calls Othello a domestic tragedy that's all about the fatal consequence of doubt. So here, love isn't a comedy at all. It's this all-consuming jealousy that drives a celebrated general to murder his innocent wife. It just shows the absolute destruction that love can cause.
So from the highs and lows of love and ambition, Shakespeare takes us even deeper, right into the very core of what it means to be alive. He forces his characters, and let's be honest, us, to face these incredibly profound questions about life, death, purpose, and suffering.
This is it. This is probably the most famous line in the entire English language. Prince Hamlet, totally paralyzed by grief and this need for revenge, just questions everything. Is it better to suffer through all the pain life throws at you, or just end it? It is the ultimate expression of human uncertainty. And while that sounds so grand and philosophical, the source brings it right back down to earth. At its core, this line is about the indecisiveness of the human mind. It's that feeling of being so overwhelmed by a choice that you're just frozen. You can't act. And that's a feeling I think we've all had.
Now, from Hamlet's inner turmoil, we go to King Lear's very external torment.
After he's betrayed by his own daughters, the arrogant king is left wandering in a storm, just raging at the sky. This powerful line captures his feeling that, yeah, he's made mistakes, but the cruelty and injustice done to him are so much worse.
And this is where all that questioning can lead you if every last bit of hope is gone. At the end of his bloody rampage, a completely broken Macbeth delivers this devastating verdict on what life is. After his ambition has cost him everything, he concludes that life is totally meaningless. It's just a chaotic, loud story that, in the end, means nothing. It is one of the bleakest, most powerful things Shakespeare ever wrote.
Which brings us right back to where we started. Ambition, love, doubt, despair, these are the scenes we act out, the soliloquies we give in our own lives. Shakespeare's ultimate message really seems to be that we are all just actors, finding our way through the plots laid out for us, whether they end up being comedies, tragedies, or something in between.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. After looking at all the villains, the heroes, the lovers, and the fools that fill Shakespeare's universe, the final question really turns back to you. If life really is a play and you're a player on that stage, what role are you going to choose? What's your story going to be?